Welcome to Wish I Had Known, the show where hindsight meets insight. Host Jody Lamb has worn many hats in the world of finance, from navigating the intricacies of financial planning to unraveling the mysteries of insurance claims and diving deep into the realm of structured settlements. Each episode explores the topics that make you say, if only I had known this sooner. Join the conversation as we uncover the insights that can make all the difference. This is Wish I Had Known, because knowledge is power and hindsight is 20/20.
Who find themselves on the fringe of insurance. In today's episode of Wish I Had Known, we have unprecedented access to an Underwriter Whisperer. We'll have insight into the journey for those who find themselves on the fringe of insurance eligibility due to past medical issues, adventurous life choices, or maybe a mistake like a DUI. We're joined by experts with more than 4 decades of experience and an impressive success ratio for finding insurance solutions for the uninsurable. Today we're going to be shining a light on pathways to protection we often overlook. Welcome to the show, Jim Moseley and Taylor Copas.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your patience. We've had a bumpy start today, but the whole wish I had known hindsight, we learn from those experiences, and I appreciate your patience with us today. But we're not here to talk about me. We're talking about you, a Underwriter Whisperer. I've been in insurance for 25 years. I have never heard this title before. Why don't you guys tell me a little bit about that and who you guys are?
Yes, thank you. The first time I heard somebody refer to Jim as that, as an Underwriter Whisperer, we were at a NAPA convention in Montana, which Jim has been past president of the local NAPA chapter. And, after anytime you have a big kind of convention, everyone goes up to the hotel rooms afterwards and has some drinks and whatnot. And it was very nice to kind of hear all the heavy hitters stand around in a circle and kind of sing the praises for Jim Moseley and Jim McGill and what they've been able to do for them in the past with getting some denied or rated cases on life or long-term care that were denied or rated unfavorably by underwriting. So that's pretty awesome.
I use a different title. I say my specialty is the ability to beg, grovel, and plead with underwriters to get my way. Used to work with my mother, and it still works fairly well now.
So what skills did your mom teach you, Jim, to get your way when you're working with underwriters? That can be a really difficult conversation to have, for someone who may have had a past or some issues that may make them not ideal candidates for insurance.
Well, life insurance underwriting is part science and part art. The science is you got to give the underwriter all the information you can. Whatever's out there, they're going to find anyway, and you want to protect your own credibility with your underwriters and the relationships you've built. So you get them all the information to start with, and then you go out and get details of everything that the person is doing that is healthy, that is positive, that is proactive. Get right down to the nitty gritty. Somebody says, "Oh, my client runs 5 miles a week." That's good. But it's even a little better if you say, hey, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, he goes out and runs 1.5 miles on a schedule. Now, this is a dedicated guy who's really trying to improve his health and so forth. So you pick up on those details and present that to the underwriter, and you're actually trying to draw a visual of what the client looks like and set it right on the corner of the underwriter's desk, so he can see the positives. The guy's got nicely groomed hair, and he smiles a lot, and he's doing all the right things to try to offset whatever his health issue may be.
So, Jim, are people not doing this already? I would anticipate that when you're applying for these type of products, life insurance primarily, right? Yes. That you're getting all this information. Is this not standard and customary process for any individual looking to get insurance?
Unfortunately, a lot of even agents want to get the least amount of questions answered. They just want, get me an offer and get it quick, and we'll push back.
A lot. So if that's not something that's, typically asked. So a lot of times what's happening now is when that application is sent over, a lot of times with AI and things like that, it goes over and it might not be even an underwriter. It could be an algorithm that has some kind of predetermined, some kind of set parameters on there. So it might get shot over, and it takes a look at it, the computer system, and immediately says no. Why? Because someone's A1C is maybe 1 point below what it should be. So it gets kicked out as denied or rated unfavorably. And if it's denied, everyone goes and leaves the office on Friday at a certain time, or they get there at a certain time, and that's been denied. They don't even take a look at it. It just goes into a
denial pile, and no one gets the
Yeah.
insurance, right? So then they go without the insurance, or they just get resigned that, well, I'm not eligible for now. I'll look at it later in the future. And we all know that cost of insurance only increases the older that we get. So if we reach out to you, I could see this being applicable for people who are adventurous. I mean, we think we talked in the past. There's skydivers, the scuba divers, the race car drivers, like people that have that adventurous nature, typically have a challenge getting insured. What are other examples of people that may be challenged to get insurance, who may could benefit from a Underwriter Whisperer service to be able to get insurance to protect our financial needs in the future?
Well, it's kind of interesting when you mention racing. We've got one right now that we're working on, and the difference between whether he is a professional driver, makes his living as that, and him being an amateur who out here in Nebraska, he farms all week long, and on the weekends he goes and races. It's substantial difference. Somebody that's just doing it once in a while for the fun of it, not too big a deal. If you're out there racing all the time, high speeds and so forth, then you get to pay extra for it.
Okay.
So documenting the fact that the guy is an amateur, he doesn't make enough money to even cover his expenses on it, gets him a better rating. But you have to go back and get the details and find out, is it true that he's not making money and he's not using this for his living? But the other things...
Is that not just even more dangerous, though, for an underwriter's perspective? You've got a non-skilled, not professional level skilled person now applying for insurance, and they do it on the weekends when, there may be other influences that could be in play. Why is that more favorable as an amateur versus a pro? Well, I mean, obviously the pro, you have repetition and probability, but
you have higher speeds when you're professional and much more repetition.
Okay.
Somebody that's an amateur might go out and race 4 or 5 weekends a year versus doing it all year round.
So asking those questions, that's where we're going to be able to really dig into the details. So if someone, AI these days, we don't have individuals looking at them as well, or like we used to. But if AI is going to, reject it, you're able to get in front of an underwriter and make a case by asking these detailed questions. Does I understand that right?
You did understand that right.
Okay.
And I do a lot more in the medical side.
All right.
People with diabetes, with heart histories, with cancer histories, all that type of stuff. The details make a lot of difference.
So devil is in the details. Let's talk about medication. And, different states have different interpretation of medication. And I'm sure the life insurance companies will review an application accordingly, whether it be drug use, substance abuse, DUIs. Who are most vulnerable to having automatic denials, but potentially could still benefit from a Underwriter Whisperer?
Well, I'm into the health side of it, Jody.
Okay.
So I've got diabetes myself. I've got cancer. I've got heart problems. So I kind of understand those arenas. And somebody that's had a heart attack and had massive damage, and it's been 1.5 years ago, he's got a real problem trying to get insurance. Conversely, somebody had a heart attack 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years ago with very little heart muscle damage or no heart muscle damage, you're looking at an entirely different picture. somebody that's a diabetic and has their A1C well controlled and they've had it for a while, we can get some pretty good ratings on them. Some of them up into the preferred categories.
Taylor, what's your
Well,
experience with all this?
some of the things that also get denied, you're going to have bull riders. You're going to have individuals who maybe have they like to fly airplanes. They like to scuba dive. They like to, race cars on the weekend. Another side is, when you're talking about, medications and things like that, anymore, there's a lot of maybe documented use of, marijuana and the benefits of that. And if you live in a state where that's legal, underwriting sometimes will even take a look at that. They want to know how much, if you're using and partaking, a joint a day is okay, really, when it boils down to it. Now, if you smoke 2 a day, now we're getting into, a little bit more higher rating and things like that. But even if you live in a state where it is illegal in that state, that's still not a no-go. We're still able to work with underwriting on there. Individuals who have had DUIs as well, Jim has helped them out in the past. When a lot of times, if you walk into a normal carrier and you say, "Hey, I want to get life insurance," and you fill out an application, you're going to look at it. Boom, one underwriter's made a decision. First thing we say, then an agent calls us or an individual and says, "Hey, we say, all right, fill out that application." Jim will take that to 6 or 7 underwriters. Don't send it in first. Go and talk to the underwriters. Kind of once somebody says no, then they've already put my foot down. I say no on that. So then trying to get them to change that, but instead of kind of painting that positive picture from the start with multiple different underwriters, then once they kind of look at it, then they can make their first decision of yes or no.
I was just going to say an interesting example of the devil is in the details. We were underwriting a case several years back now where a guy was a scuba diver, and he was a rescue scuba diver. He would go down and help get boats and bring them back up. And he was getting rated really high. And I got actually talked to the client in that case and said, "Describe to me what you do." Well, he says, "We live out here by Ogallala, Nebraska, and we've got a big Mac lake up here. And if somebody's boat slides off the trailer and goes underwater, we go down and get it." I said, "Well, how deep are you going?" "Oh, 10, 11 feet, maybe 15 feet deep at the most." Well, when they said he was a rescue diver, everybody was assuming he was dropping down 50 to 70 feet down in old wrecks and trying to salvage stuff out of them. And we were able to get a much, much better rating on it, knowing that he never went down deeper than 10 or 15 feet, was usually not very far off the shore.
Asking those important questions is key, and I think we can all relate to a family member, a friend, a coworker who may be on a situation where they would be more challenged, whether by health or personal choices or activities. When you're working with people, have you seen what kind of success rate do you typically see? Do you able to cross that no to a yes on the cases that you work with?
I would think we probably come up with an offer on 60% of the cases or better. Sometimes it's not exactly the product they want, not exactly the company we would have chosen to start with, but getting them some kind of an offer, 60 to 70% of the time.
Excellent. Taylor, Jim, if an agent has clients that they're working with and they've received unfavorable reporting from underwriting on a case where someone's seeking life insurance, what's the best step for them going forward?
Give us a call. Call Jim, call Teresa here in the office. Give me a call. If you have any cases that have been denied or rated unfavorably by underwriting, if it was a good plan at first before it got denied and it was a strong piece and a solid financial plan, it's still probably that strong piece and that solid financial plan, even though you have that denial. Just know that there's options out there for you. If you're an individual and your agent has told you, "Sorry, your life insurance has been denied," or it's rated very high, much higher than you were expecting, much higher premium than you were expecting, give us a call. We're here to help out, to see what we can do to at least search out under every rock and give you some firm answers.
We're good for second, third, and fourth opinions. We will work on a case. Maybe we'll get it, maybe we won't, but we will work on a case. And I've seen a lot of agents that somebody says, hey, I've got some heart problems. They just stop. And that's sad because they, a lot of times, can get some pretty good coverage at a reasonable price. So get a second opinion.
Wish we had known before. Now we don't have to second guess. If you've been denied, reach out to Jim, reach out to Taylor. They'll have that next conversation with you, see how we can help. Well, I appreciate you guys so much for joining us. It's stories like yours that help light the path, help us navigate our own journeys, and with a little bit more foresight and a lot less regret. A huge thank to you both. Thank you for joining me today. We have, if anybody else has a remarkable story or information that you want to share, reach out. If you have any questions or find yourself in a situation where you're looking for answers, #AskJody. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Wish I Had Known. We'll see you next time.
For listening to today's episode. Please like, share, and subscribe so you can hear all of Jody's chats, so you don't have to say, "Wish I had known."